Okay.
Hey John,
Hey,
you know what I hate?
country music?
You know what I hate?
Rednecks?
Star Wars.
It's a reference to Columbine.
Yeah, well, it's a joke because they really hated everything in a blog where they would say stuff.
Yeah.
They
Well, no,
hated.
it was like a diary entry.
Are you sure?
I think
Like
so.
I'm pretty sure it was like on AOL or something.
Hmm.
They had a sort of a pre-web blog.
Keyword Columbine shooters.
Yes. So anyway, we were having an argument earlier today about the implicit value of Star Wars as a cultural construct. And John, being the average Generation Y constituent over there defending it,
Yes.
and I'm on the opposite side. I think it's trivial, trite, and stupid and incessant commercialistic nonsense. So John, redeem your culture.
What do you want me to say?
I don't know why people like Star Wars when it's so dumb.
I don't care why people like Star Wars. I just like it.
Well, I need to have some reasons.
You
Why?
see me going to Dragon Con dressing up like a stormtrooper?
No, but you did go to Dragon Con though,
So
and there's a lot of other nerds that go to Dragon Con.
I can go with other nerds.
Well, they're there. That's why they have Dragon Con. It's a nerd gathering hole
Yeah.
where they all get around and act all spectrumy.
I mean, yeah.
Okay, let me put it in perspective
Go
like
ahead.
this. Okay, there are a lot of really stupid things that I enjoy in this little world, right?
Yes.
Like I love The Evil Dead and Slapshot. But the thing is, even though I like these things, they're not an omnipresent part of my life, like it is with these Star Wars dweebs.
It doesn't have to be an omnipresent part of your life. You
But
can
it
just
is an
enjoy it.
omnipresent part of their life. It's
But
always.
does that matter for you?
Yes, it does because.
Okay, is Star Wars bad because people like it, or is it bad because it's bad?
Well, it's bad and it's bad because people like it.
That doesn't matter.
It does because it's had a profound impact on our philosophical outlook as a generation.
If you went to one horror convention and you saw the people who like the Evil Dead, you would probably kill yourself. Damn it.
I probably would.
Because you would.
But then again, my identity is not based upon my loyalty to a product.
But if people.
They're-
Okay.
they're
what does that have to do, though, with Star Wars? Like. People who like Evil Dead aren't keeping you from liking Evil Dead. So why does it matter for Star Wars?
Oh well, it would if that becomes like an identifier of who I am as a person. It's like, oh, I'm not a person who enjoys Evil Dead. I'm an Evil Dead fan. If the Evil Dead fan has a certain connotation, then I don't want to be that.
I mean, it has a pretty good connotation, like
Well, first off, I'm not an Evil Dead fan. I'm not that
fat,
reductionistic.
autist, neckbeard, fedora-wearing horror fan pile of crap.
It's something that I enjoy that influenced me as a youngster, but I don't go around like splashing Evil Dead everything on.
I just don't know. Okay, are
all
you
things.
insulting Star Wars or just the fans?
Oh, both.
Okay, well, obviously the Star Wars obsession is annoying.
Hmm.
There's a reason that I don't have Star Wars like Stormtrooper Darth Vader Vector T-shirt from.
But you will say among the Star Wars fans, they take it to an extreme fandom.
Sure.
It goes beyond like the normal like domain of hey, there's something I like to being basically a religion.
I can defend Star Wars without having to defend the fandom. That's okay.
Okay, let's talk about Star Wars the text beyond the fan base. It's stupid.
Okay, go ahead.
It's a ripoff of Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon, and it's got all that inspiration from Kurosawa and John Ford and all that stuff. I mean, there's not an original idea in the entire series. It's cheesy juvenile entertainment.
Just like Evil Dead.
Yes. But then again, I'm not vaunting the Evil Dead as some gigantic orthodoxy.
Well, neither am I for Star
Well,
Wars.
I'm not saying you are. I'm just saying
Well,
that
like-
they're the people that are into Star Wars. That's just a common element.
All right. Star Wars makes more sense as a fandom because of its universe. Evil Dead doesn't have like a giant expanded universe. Evil Dead doesn't have 6 movies. No, wait, yeah, 6 movies and a TV show. Evil Dead doesn't have comics and cartoons. Star Wars has such an appeal because it has so much application.
So
I guess,
basically,
I
what
don't
you're
know.
saying is Star Wars is popular because it gives all these nerds a gigantic fictional universe to live in, to
Sure.
douse their lives in.
Yeah. Sure.
Wait, and you don't see the negative in that.
Yes, I do. What did I just say earlier? I don't defend the fandom because I think it's stupid.
Okay, well, let's talk about the generational impact. Can you not see how that might have like a negative influence on social systems as a whole?
Should we just get rid of this token? Is token an evil or like?
Yes,
Why?
because there's a real world out there, and we're an entire culture just enmeshed in juvenile
Okay,
affairs.
and what do you think that your average fat asshole would be doing if he wasn't into Star Wars?
I don't know. Maybe not be fat. He might actually been some productive in
No,
real
there's a
world.
reason that they retreat into fantasy like that in the first place. They wouldn't be productive otherwise, so why bother? I mean, we've had Star Trek nerds since the 70s. We've had...
Yeah, but here's the difference, though. We've seen a transvaluation in American culture where the nerds are no longer the outcasts. They're the mainstream.
They're the mainstream.
They're the ones that are setting the tempo. They're the ones that are controlling the culture industry.
Well, first of all, no. They dictate what gets marketed to us with their wallets, and that's about it. They don't have any power beyond that. And they're not the mainstream. I mean, you still look like a freak if you're into Star Wars beyond like any normal capacity. Cosplaying is super duper acceptable now, but like even within the cosplay community and even within nerd culture, I see so much of a like conflict of how much is too much that like I can't see it being maintained for so long, if you know what I mean. That's my outlook. Alright.
So what I'm seeing, I'm looking at this. Okay, let's go back to the whole infantile thing. This stuff is not very complicated. It's not really approaching any real world affairs or matters. So basically,
well, what do you want it to comment on, though? I mean, everything doesn't have to relate directly to like political affairs, and like Star Wars isn't meant to be like that in the first place at all. Would you have way more respect for it if it was about the Iraq War all of a sudden?
Well, here's the thing. It's because we're living in a generation where the kids today don't care about stuff like that. They care about Star Wars.
They didn't care in 1955.
Oh, no, they cared in 1955. You could get drafted.
Like
you actually had social capital back then. We had a unified culture.
I'd rather live with Star Wars being a major obsession in the Cold War. Like, I don't know. I don't think that it means anything, like... I don't think it's really symptomatic of this generation. I just think nobody's ever cared ever. Unless it's been shoved down their throats. Like, we're not conditioned to care in any way in the first place. And, like, again, it's not Star Wars' fault.
Well, hold on. I mean, Star Wars did have an influence on the Hollywood's construct, though. I mean, that's what killed the New Hollywood movement. I can say firmly that Star Wars does play a role in the general anti-intellectual movement in American discourse.
Why?
Because look at what was going on. Before Star Wars, movies were actually a legitimate art form. They were commentary.
And now they're not.
They're not. Go compare what was being made before Star Wars, what's made after.
Man.
Go back to 1975. Go back to 1973. You had The Godfather. Those were the highest-grossing movies. Intellectual, cerebral matters. And now it's Iron Man 3.
No, I mean, we still had, I don't know. Okay, well, I'm on my James Bond marathon right now. That was 1960, 1961, 1962, 1963.
Did you know what... Okay, let me ask you a question. What was the highest-grossing movie of 1979?
I don't know.
Take a guess. This movie came out that year. There was Alien. What else came out that year?
I don't...
Phantasm was one.
I don't think Phantasm was...
But yeah, not the number one, but still. But the number one movie that year, grossing, Kramer versus Kramer. A light, sensitive political drama about the breakup of the American family. Do you think in this day and age that would ever make more than $20 million?
Do you think that is...
Would that even get... Would that even get a...
change your life?
Would that even get a widespread theatrical release nowadays? Because we don't have room for it. You have to keep making Guardians of the Galaxy and all this other nonsense.
We have to keep making...
you gotta go make Frozen, Despicable Me 3, all this anti-intellectual stuff.
And No There Will Be Blood came out in the same year.
Yes, and they played in art house cinemas. You couldn't go to like the mainstream cineplex.
Do you know how much money... Do you know how much of an impact No Country for Old Men had?
No.
Javier Bardem has a career in America. How about that?
Well, great. Some guy nobody's ever heard of is making money.
Javier Bardem?
Yeah. So what? He's a generic. He might as well be Edward James Olmos for all I care.
No! Have you seen Skyfall?
No, I haven't seen Skyfall.
Damn it. Have you seen The Sea Inside or, what was it? What's that movie? Perdido Durango? Is he in that? Never mind. It's good.
Well, anyway, back to Star Wars. Now that we're getting on this divergent track. But hold on. Star Wars, again, it started the whole movie tie-in phase, right? Because the whole point of Star Wars isn't to make art, it's to sell merchandise.
Not really.
No, that's it. Look at how much money Star Wars has made.
And do you know how much confidence everybody had in Star Wars Episode 4? None. Not even George Lucas was super invested in it. It was just his kind of dream project, and it took off way more than he ever thought it would. The actor who played Obi-Wan thought it was going to tank. Harrison Ford thought it was terrible.
Well, he was right.
Like,
but no, that's a movie that, you know, spawned the entire, you know, toy movie complex.
so
Star Wars isn't a movie anymore. It's a conglomerate. It's a stupid consumption cycle.
I mean, it's not like G.I. Joe or something. I mean,
No, I would say that it is.
why? It was not created for that pure reason. It was.
It's like the Avengers and the Dark Knight and all this other stuff. It's just meant to sell toys and video games. It has no legitimate artistic purpose.
Back it up. I mean,
Well-
honestly, like, George Lucas, that was not his intention at all, and nobody on that set really thought it was going to go beyond one movie. Like, why would he let his big, why would he use the Hidden Fortress as an inspiration for something that he was just going to sell cartoons and bubblegum with? You know? Like, it has some merit to it on George Lucas's part, and, like, I don't really think that he would have, like, I don't know. As cheesy as Star Wars is, it's really clear that he was invested in it.
Oh, so you're saying people never do anything just for the money?
No.
Like Orson Welles when he's doing Transformers?
No.
That
What
never
does that have
happens?
to do with anything?
Well, it's because people make trash a lot of times just for the profit motive.
Yeah, but that's what you just said.
And I thought George Lucas's dream project was American Graffiti.
Yeah. I mean, he did that too, but I mean, it's obvious that he was so invested in Star Wars too, though. I mean, go look at it.
Wasn't it originally supposed to be like a Buck Rogers movie?
Similar to that, yeah.
Well, then it's not even his idea.
I mean, it's called.
It's a
influence.
remake. That's all
not-
it is.
when does
The
Star
only
Wars-
reason Star Wars exists is because he couldn't get the license to
Flash
it.
Gordon and Buck Rogers do not have anything similar to Star Wars. No, nothing.
Oh, they don't?
Plot-wise, no. I mean, it's
Oh,
a similar
wow.
backdrop, but geez. I mean, would you have liked it if the whole space opera thing had stopped with Buck Rogers and Flash Gordon?
Yes.
Why?
Because they're stupid.
It's a
They're
genre.
pointless.
The
They're a
what-
genre. They're masturbatory. They have no purpose. They're not
Why?
commenting on anything.
Genres. So you're dismissing the entire genre.
I am.
Why?
Because they're all derivative and stupid, and they just lend
Derivative
themselves
of
to.
what? No,
Go-
there was no space opera before Flash Gordon and you know, etc. Like,
Well, you didn't have like a Voyage to the Moon and all that stuff from the silent era? Sci-fi, I just hate sci-fi in general. That's my least favorite genre because
then, like,
it's
your beef isn't
it's
really
so
with Star
generic.
Wars.
Well, it is with Star Wars because that's the big dog of
You
the
hate,
genre.
You hate all sci-fi. Do you know how much range sci-fi has? Star Wars isn't even really the big dog of it. I mean, there's
Well, what's the big dog then? What's the one that
there
sold
is no
$3
big
trillion?
dog. What's the big dog of action? Is it Die Hard or is it Fast and the Furious or is it what's the one with Jackie Chan? I don't know. Is it any other generic thriller that you can think of? Action has enough range.
Yes,
that nothing
but
can be a big dog.
the thing is, here's the other thing: the action genre does not have the gigantic subculture following that sci-fi stuff does,
It
and that's
can't.
what's intriguing to me.
Action doesn't have the subculture because it's simply nobody's gonna cosplay as Jackie Chan and Rubble in the Bronx. Okay,
That would be a good idea, though.
that would be good, but sci-fi's the part of like, I mean, sci-fi's just immersive, and there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself.
So it's this giant thing that you can just hop into and completely de-individuate it in, and not have to think, and everything is by the numbers, and it's basically dogmatic.
I mean, that's what everybody does, regardless of whether they're into sci-fi or not. So, yeah, sure. I mean, do you think that your average, like, cartoon jock is much better off without Star Wars?
What's a cartoon jock?
Jackass, like, fraternity goer, beer drinker who's gonna be washed up when he's 26. Like, culture is dead essentially in every way these days anyways.
Oh, so that's a great outlook to have. Let's just abandon all hope and watch Breaking Bad.
I don't think I'm the one who's abandoned hope.
Let's go watch American Horror Story. Let's just fall into these random
Have you seen either of
ephemera.
those shows?
I have not. Because I read books and I have a job.
But you like Goodfellas?
Well, Goodfellas is very entertaining.
You like The Godfather?
The first one.
How do you feel about The Sopranos?
Never seen it.
How would you feel about The Sopranos?
I haven't seen it.
What? Wait, how do you know how you would feel about Breaking Bad?
I haven't seen it.
Oh, okay. Well, what's wrong with watching it?
I don't want to watch it.
Why?
Because I've seen clips on YouTube.
So?
I don't want to see it. That'd give me a taste, and I don't think it's interesting.
Why?
Why not?
Do you like The Godfathers? You like The Godfather? It'd be pretty up your alley if you like The Godfather. It's the similar level of subtlety and craft, similar subject matter.
Well, it's like saying, if I like bananas, I like cucumbers because they're similarly shaped.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's like saying if you like bananas, maybe you would like banana pudding.
Okay.
They're coming from the same area. They're coming from the same stuff. Breaking Bad's pretty influenced by The Godfather. Breaking Bad's pretty influenced by Goodfellas and Scarface and other historical mob films. I would recommend it. It's pretty along the... It's on the same hue, alright, of media.
Well, that's all right.
Hmm.
So what's your final comment on this? On this Star Wars sci-fi nerd culture, Reddit America being destroyed?
I don't really see what we accomplished with this. The only thing is Star Wars nerds are bad, and that's about it. I mean, Star Wars is fun. I don't really have a great philosophical outlook on it.
And you know what? That might just be the problem.
No.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Yeah.
No. It's alright.
No,
I
it's
like
not.
to relax.
It's not good. Not good at all.